So one of the things I found out from reviewing the 3 games from last week is that if you have games that go to straight time, there's not as many plays that come up, so you don't have as many plays that you can actually screw up in. So the first game we're going to look at from the air is the St. John Wanderers and the Fredericton game. This is Bill's game. And there aren't, I'll tell you right now, I have 26 or 27 clips altogether. If there's something that catches your eye in the clip that you would like to discuss for those who are joining us tonight for the first time, please interrupt and we'll discuss it. If there's something that I mentioned when I identify the clip that you're going to look at and you disagree with, or you agree with, or you think there's something else, please feel free to offer your comments. And if you by chance happen to show up as the highlight in one of these clips, you just happen to be in the position. It's not talking about Al Gates and his terrible job he did. It's more that the official and what they could have done better or what they did well and so on. So the first game, as I say, is the Fleet and the Wanderers. Bill's alluded to this already, that it was a challenge, to say the least. And this is a topic that's going to come up probably a couple of times tonight, and again when we meet on Thursday night for the week 6 videos. So we've had, I'm going to use the term issues, which sounds like a bad thing. We've had some issues throughout the season where the ball all of a sudden starts to break out. And when it breaks out, we have guys that are standing flat-footed, and all of a sudden the ball's catching up to us. Okay. So we should have 2 guys right in line with the ball rather than waiting for it to get to us. So just a word of advice. And again, your next group of clips on Thursday night, I'm a great example of this. Field goals. So we talked about, we talked earlier this year about field goals, especially missed ones. I'm sorry, this is goal line, so I'm not going to say any more. So initial positioning. And good reaction based on the location of the ball. So everybody's where they should be. And Bill, you were a 6 official crew, correct? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so referee, field judge, umpire, line of scrimmage, deep side. Okay, so everybody's in their initial positions. When the ball gets snapped, everybody moves as they're supposed to their appropriate places. So the moving side official, short side official in this case, goes to the goal line, slides into the goal line once the play breaks, and we now have the play all boxed in. So good reaction and coverage on a goal line play. Stop. 5:15. This is a run play by the quarterback for Fredericton. Okay, so let me go back to that one. So for a defensive player, when a quarterback gives themselves up, what must that defensive player try not to do? Open question.
If he's giving himself up, you got to lay off.
Exactly.
You can't
go
go
do everything
tackle
you
him.
possibly can to stay from making contact with him. Okay. There's no attempt to, and I think in the rule book, the terminology used is this running back, the quarterback must go down in a timely manner. So he's starting to drop already. So we've got 2 flags on the play. The second one's going to come out here in just a second. Right there. So we have a flag here for, if I remember correctly, Mike, I think that's you for an offside. And then we have this one for the contact. Because I get the penalty card, I know that the call on the play was a head leading tackle. Any thoughts about that penalty? It's Paul that called it. I don't know if Paul's with us tonight or anybody else in the crew. Was there any discussion on that contact?
No, there wasn't.
No. Any thoughts from anybody that was in the game?
Looking at it from this angle, there might be a case to be made for targeting.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. If you're going to go any way other than head leading, would be targeting, because the quarterback was, I think, basically down on the ground when the defensive player jumped in.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to be an advocate in a second.
I'm gonna pipe up here. Is it head leading? I can't tell. It looks as though it may not be. It may still be a foul, but I'm not sure that it looks like head leading.
Okay.
But you've got somebody right there. I'm having a hard time.
Okay, so this is his helmet right here. Oh, sorry, Jim.
Yeah, it looks as though the helmet goes over the top.
I did have access to a different video clip of this that is more damning in the play. I just want to toss this one out. This, and the only reason I bring this up, we haven't called this year, and I've seen a number of penalties come across my desk or my computer about head leading tackles, head leading blocks, and so on. I know we're late in the season. Probably a reminder should have been sent out. In this league, they have the MFL targeting rule. So in this case, if he leads with his head, if he does, and again, as Jim said, this image isn't real good. If he leads and makes contact with his head to a defenseless player, or he takes the defenseless player's head, in their rules, that player is supposed to be removed from play. But again, call in the field was head leading, no question. Based on 2 facts, the guy gave up, and it appears that he goes in with his head. It's just something for us all to keep in mind as the season sort of wraps up, that if we're getting these head leading tackles, we have to keep in mind the person that they're tackling, were they a defenseless player also? Okay. This is just a question on who has coverage on this player, on the 6 official crew. Open question.
Sideline.
Sideline guy. And the only reason I picked this one up is that when you watch the quarterback, where is he looking to throw the ball? So his eyes continue to look this way. That might have been a penalty that we should have picked up on, just based on what the defender does with the receiver as he comes by.
But to go back a step,
yeah,
we don't have a tight end here, do we?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, that coverage is deep inside, because there's only 2 guys on this side of the field, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Sorry, you're right.
Line of scrimmage has the outside guy.
Yeah, so there.
Right.
Yeah, correct. Yes, on the 6th. Okay. So again, the question just has risen. If that was the intended receiver, that push may have been an issue. Thanks for picking up on that, Andrew. Want to see that one again? Okay, we get it. Did it have a bearing on the play?
That's
Yeah. If he could have got free, he had the line on him.
Exactly. So good call. And I called it a sweep. It's actually a screen pass as it comes out. Tie up and throw down.
This is where the game started to go to hell in a handbasket. And if you start to watch the plays in close to the line of scrimmage, there was that kind of pushing, shoving, wrestling going on in just about every play, which made it very distracting for the officials. You know, on this play here, Mike caught it, but there was something going on everywhere. Like you should be looking in a particular direction, but you're distracted by other nonsense going on, and it made it really hard to officiate.
Yeah, there's actually one that I have in this bill later on that speaks directly to what you're talking about. 35, 42. Okay, so the video doesn't show this. Note on the far side, I don't know what the down is, my apologies, but we've got a fairly short distance to go. So when the play goes dead, we have our one of our line of scrimmage guys coming in, the other starting to come in. Do you understand why my question was there? Who had the point where the ball went dead? So it's one of those that when we have we can tell by this that they didn't gain yardage last one. We can tell by the reaction of players that they felt it was close. Okay, same thing. Stop. So on this play, if you watch the two outside receiver 1 and then 3, these guys have engaged already in blocking. This is why this official needs to see hands up in the air that it's a screen pass. Because if it's not a screen pass, there should be penalties thrown. So both guys have the screen signals up. No flag for illegal men downfield. But that's just an example of why we need those screen signals. 66.
I've started to ask that question in my pregame because we seem to be really focused on mechanics, and one of them is, having your hand up on a screen pass, but there's not a lot of people that can tell you why we have it up. So I'm really glad that you're explaining it.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that I know why they're up on the field, but that's the purpose of it. So that the deep officials or covering officials know that blocking is permitted on a screen pass. Okay, so this is short kickoff. Next point of scrimmage isn't going to help us. So the question is, who actually recovers the ball? The ball's right here. And was there a foul on it? And the next part of the play doesn't really help us. Okay, so there's a note that says they're on their feed, there's a note that says there was a foul in the play, not recorded. And coming out of the play, we really don't know who has the ball. And then we jump to this spot. There's a play actually missing. So can the guys that were in the game, who recovered the ball in this?
It was first touch by the kicking team?
Yeah, but after it went 10 yards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe the Fleet recovered.
Fleet recovered? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Arliss, that was a note I had, and I watched it a number of times to see when his hands actually made contact with that ball. Okay, so it's now a legal kickoff, but again, as I say, because we missed that next play, we don't know who actually recovered it. Good coverage though, lots of bodies moving. 104. I'll stop. Okay, so our initial positioning, we can't see everybody. From the get-go, from the snap, everybody's position appears to be correct. Use this clip simply to give you an idea of how we can use our positions for safety as well as coverage. Andrew, I think this is one we talked about. Okay, stay outside. There's a reason to stay outside. Sorry. Stay outside. Okay, they don't need you over here yet, especially with what's happening with this guy. If we stayed outside, we don't need to turn and run to the sideline to protect ourselves. Now we got the play well boxed in, which is all good. But it's just when the play's still developing, we need to be moving. There's no question. But we need to anchor ourselves to the sideline until the play is really well developed and is truly going to one side or the other before we slide off. I know that in Saturday night's game, because nobody would talk to me on the sideline, everybody kept yelling at me. I had to convince myself when the ball went to the sideline, I would say out loud to myself, stay here, stay here, stay here, until the play was well developed. And if I didn't, I'd have been wandering all over the place. So use our positions for protection as well as coverage of the play. So guys from NS and for PEI, we've been identifying a number of incidents of blocking below the knees in our video reviews and so on. And they continue to show up. I know that Jamie supposedly sent a note to all the coaches, but it doesn't seem to clean up everything as it should. And it's not, this isn't even a cut block. I guess if you want to call it a cut block. So just something for us to be aware of. And lastly, Bill, this is the one I alluded to. Okay, because, and this is late in the game. I think there's like 151 plays. We're at 113 now. And Bill's been babysitting a group of adults for almost 2 hours or more. And so Bill's already talked about this. We have foolishness going right here where my cursor is. Okay. As a referee, our prime responsibility is this guy, but we are also humans and we want to make sure nothing stupid happens here where the cursor is. So in this play, these two guys should be offering backside coverage on the play.
Now, on that cut block one you showed a minute ago,
yeah.
Who should have had coverage on that play? The referee was watching the quarterback and what was going on over there. The sideline guy had a receiver.
Well, I should have been watching it, but if you watch what happens, I'm initially going with the quarterback.
Right, exactly.
And then the nonsense that's going on in the middle of the field gets my attention. And there were bad things going on everywhere in the game.
But you got to watch that guy coming in on the quarterback, Bill. You'd be at your peripheral at the best.
Yeah, but the quarterback scrambled out on this play, and I should have gone with him, but there was just so much other nonsense happening.
So if anybody, as Bill's already alluded to, and Arliss, you have, this is, where'd my arrow go? This is Bill's prime responsibility right here. Okay, and when he goes or is threatened, as he is right now, okay, that's where his focus has to be. So we need to, and you guys that work umpire, you know this is a hard one to see. And as Arliss alluded to, that might be out of your periphery. But this line of scrimmage guy here, there's no threat. In this whole area. So as of right now, he doesn't have to become locked in, focused on this. Could be having a look back this way also. Do we get them all? God, no. It'd be nice if we got the ones like that and they were easy to get. As Bill alluded to, and as I said, this being play 113, the last one, when you've gone through two hours and change of having to deal with this foolishness every play, that it makes it difficult to catch the stuff that we don't want to miss. Okay. So that is the Fleet and Wanderers game.
Before you go on, there was one play that we had to think about. The Wanderers had the ball somewhere around their own 45-yard line or something like that. There's a running play. There are two unnecessary roughness calls on the play, deemed to be simultaneous. I had a flag and Todd had a flag. The foul occurred about, well, doesn't matter really, about 10 or 15 yards downfield. The result of the play was a touchdown. So we had to think about, okay, what's the result of this play going to be?
So was it a duel or
there were simultaneous unnecessary roughness. They were wrestling, call it whatever you want, to the ground, and it was getting ugly. So we both threw a flag prior to the touchdown being scored. So we couldn't decide which one occurred first, so we called it simultaneous.
Yeah.
So what do you do with it?
Bring it back to line of scrimmage.
And no score.
No score.
No. If we deemed one happened before the other, then you could make the case. But we didn't have one before the other.
Yeah. Jim?
So I was just going to say, if yards had been gained when, and I don't know whether they were or were not, but if yards had been gained with simultaneous fouls, would you not go to the point ball dead when the simultaneous fouls occurred? If yards had been gained?
I think you could only do that if the foul occurred against the defense.
No, I'm just,
Yeah.
if you've got offsetting fouls and yards have been gained, I'm just wondering.
I'd be inclined to do that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's basically where you're calling the play stopped, right?
Yes. A single one, it doesn't matter whether yards are gained or not. You can come back to the line of scrimmage.
If
Yes.
it's against the
With
defense.
the duel,
Yeah.
that might be, yeah.
I don't know.
It's an odd scenario.
Yeah. If it was against the offense first, then you go back to the previous line of scrimmage. Yeah. Defense, point ball held, but simultaneous, I don't know.
No. I think you did it right.
Seen it.
I think you did it right. Okay. Any other comments or questions about this game? Oh, good. The next one is
It was nice to do a game only needing one scorecard.
You guys only used one scorecard that night?
24 fouls, and 12 of them were major fouls.
Yeah, I think it was 8-4 was a breakdown of major fouls that I sent off or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a game from Moncton between the Bucks and the Mustangs. So Andrew, you can answer to this question when we get up to it. Did you think that was intentional grounding?
No, because I saw the player there.
Okay.
That's the reason I didn't even question it.
Okay. So let me ask.
I know he's trying. I know he's getting rid of the ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we know that.
But there's a kid there. Yeah.
This guy's right here.
Right.
I do have a question, though. And I'm asking this because of being new to the sideline. With that ball being thrown like that, is the line of scrimmage official supposed to indicate that the ball did not cross the line by pointing down at the field in the backfield? Those of you that work line of scrimmage, fill me in. I want to know.
Yes. I'll answer that from a white hat point of view. I don't necessarily expect that signal until I look out and need the information.
Yeah.
But when I look out and need the information, I want to know what it is.
Know if it is there or not. Okay.
Did you look out to the sidelines, Andrew?
No, I didn't, because
you saw the whole thing.
That receiver is right straight in front of me where I saw where he was throwing it. So it was all right there in front of me.
Yeah. He's going with this guy right here, Jack.
Yeah. Yeah.
As being
there, yeah.
in the area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
no, I didn't even look out at all, because I wasn't even questioning it, Jack, because of that receiver in the target area, if you want to call it that.
Okay. Jason,
could that be discussed more in a pregame?
I think it's something that the referee might ask of his line of scrimmage guys, that if we have a situation like that, if it's Andrew, maybe looking out at them saying, if I look out to you, I'll want to know where it was. Yes, that should be part of our pregame. Jason, do you tend to indicate that when it happens, whether you're looked at or not?
I think we should signal it back, but I don't think we should be the one to throw the flag. That's up to the white hat to throw the flag. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's the referee. So, but your habit is, if it's an intentional ground, it hasn't crossed the line, you just point down and hold it.
I try to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Jason on that one. Normally, if you think there's a possibility of it being intentional grounding, you signal.
Okay. All right.
That's what I do. I just point back in the backfield, and it's your call to make.
Yeah. Okay. So, John, the answer to your question for all of us that are white hats, yes, that should be part of our discussion on how we want that handled. And then for some who it's more of a habit to do, then make sure your referee knows that you're not trying to usurp his power and his extra money.
Just a question there on this, because you guys are saying the mechanic is the point to the ground, but why wouldn't you just point backwards, or even hold your hand up if it was potentially a screen pass?
Okay,
so if there's already
pointing backwards is just for a lateral.
Correct. Yes, and then in this case, we're saying if this pass didn't reach the line of scrimmage, so we would have our hand up. So I guess my question is, why would we introduce a different signal? Why wouldn't we use the same signal for regardless?
Okay, so the three mechanics, and my sideline guys, correct me if I'm wrong. So the screen pass is the hand straight up in the air above your shoulder, and you keep it up until the play is done, basically. For a screen. For a lateral, as Andrew just stated, your arm comes straight out from your shoulder and points into the backfield.
Yep.
For intentional grounding, that your hand is down, pointing towards the ground in the offensive backfield, just to indicate the ball didn't crash.
Yep.
Is that okay, Nick?
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions on that one, guys? Andrew, does that sound kosher with you?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Okay. And keep in mind, folks, that signal that we're talking about, that it didn't cross the line of scrimmage, there's no rush for that. Make sure everything is done, and then you just point back if that's your protocol. You don't have to worry about getting it right as the play is happening on it, because nothing's happening, because we're dealing with an incomplete pass in these situations, right?
Yeah. So and pointing back should be down, pointing into the ground in the backfield.
Yeah.
I guess. Next one. So we have a kickoff coming up. Okay, so initial positioning. This is Andrew's favorite positioning now, and I agree with it. So we have our I'm sorry, before I started, this is a 7-member crew. So our referee is on the kicking line. The umpire is on the restraining line. What we're doing, because some of the teams here in New Brunswick have a tendency for short kickoffs, is we've asked this line of scrimmage official over here to line up 15 yards from the kicking line. The other line of scrimmage official lines up about 20 to, I think usually it's a 20, 25 is not bad either. Then our deep side guy is right on the sideline. The deep side guy now, Jim, you looked more closely at these than I have. Oh, that's the interpretation. More closely than I have. The deep side guys now on punts are almost in line with the receivers. Is that correct?
Deep sidelines on punts are in line with the receivers. Yeah, correct. Yes. We're talking kickoffs here, though, are we?
Yes, this is a kickoff. I'm coming to that.
Yeah, yeah. And deep sides as well in ordinary positioning are in line with the deepest receiver in amateur ball. Just before we go on, I was looking for the section you were talking about, intentional grounding. Yeah. It's in our manual. It says if the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage and there is no receiver in the area, the sideline official will point to the backfield, indicating the referee should throw the flag. So if there is a receiver in the area, the sideline official is not pointing back.
Doesn't point back.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No. Thank you. Okay. So our deep side guys are in line with the deepest receiver, and then the field judge is just behind them. So this is our initial kickoff positioning. Everybody slides and moves. It's ready to pick up traffic, and away we go. I think this was maybe 2 weeks ago. You guys can correct me. It was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago where we talked about this. I think it was Paul that brought it up. On kickoffs, we talked about having the sticks back here, like go off the line of scrimmage, off the sideline. So bring them back on kickoffs, and our downs box, which sets up under 40 here, would be the same. They'd be 3 to 5 yards off the field also. And Paul's rationale at Justify One is that if they're there, there's more of a chance that they're going to get tangled up or the downs box. So move them back. We identified that we want those sticks standing so the coaches know where the 10 yards is, and that having the downs box back, again, it's just for protective purposes. So I just said what's printed here. We talked about moving them back from the sidelines for safety. Not that anything ever happens, but there's always a possibility. And more so when you think about it, sorry, let me go back here. When this young umpire and the guy on his side down here starts to move, those can be in the way. So let's get them back off the sideline for safety purposes, but they should still be in place. Next one's a question on coverage.
Young umpire.
That's cold setting it. So who has these two birds, ones that the arrows are pointing at? That does not mean they're going to do anything wrong. Sometimes they don't. But who has them? Okay. And if you have them, when do you give them up? You want to see where they came from again? He's number 2 receiver on the field side. He's number 2 receiver on the boundary side. They both take off.
Is this a punt?
No, this is a scrimmage play.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. That's Andrew back there.
With you. Okay, so now we've got one receiver. The receiver who started over here is now cruising through this way. And the other guy, his counterpart, is cruising through that way. So when we started, this is a 7-member crew. Who has the number 2 receiver on each of these sidelines?
Sideline guy.
The sideline
guy
is the sideline guy, and then the receiver on the other side would be the field or the back guy.
Inside.
Where are they at the snap?
No, they're both sideline.
They're both number 2
sideline.
The first sideline is going to have the what? Because
no, it's a 7-man crew.
Oh, it's 7-man crew. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hold it. Jack was just asking where they are at the snap.
Where are they at the snap?
Okay.
They're both in 2 spots.
So he's still in a 2, even though he's in front of him.
Oh no. Okay, that's a 3 there then.
Well, no, he's a 2.
No, the snap is not gone yet.
Yeah, it's ball's already moved.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Right here. See where my pointer is, Jack?
Okay. Yeah.
He's going to start moving the ball, and that guy is in front of him at the snap. So there's still number 2 receivers coming through on a 7-member crew.
Well, the guy at the top would be 3. Well, it depends, I guess.
No, this is receiver 1, field side, receiver 1, receiver 2.
Yeah, so okay. Yeah.
So who has this guy?
That would be
Who's going to be they're on this side of the field, so isn't 2 going to be initially the inside deep guy?
No,
line of scrimmage guys. 2 is always line of scrimmage.
Okay. Remember, 7-man guys, not 6.
Yeah,
7.
Referee has it.
Not this time.
Okay. So the responsibility for both of these guys is the line of scrimmage official. Okay. On 7-member crew.
Okay.
Okay, they're both doing a drag route across, and they cross. Ah, shit.
That's when you should switch, when they cross.
When they enter your zone, yeah.
Okay.
Right there,
yeah.
So let me ask this question. I will not dispute your answer. How do you know you're going to switch?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know when he comes into your zone.
Yeah, but you know the other guy's going to leave and take. You could both be on. technically you both could be on the same receiver if the other guy doesn't switch.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
So,
if that guy gets
one
that
guy
far away,
cruising
once
across,
he's left your zone, he should fall to the other sideline guy to pick him up as soon as he's out of your zone. If he's going from the top, like once he exits that top zone into your zone, you get to pick him up. They both basically cross at the border of that zone, right?
But we do say you're supposed to hold them till they're out of harm's way.
Right. Keep what Jim just said in mind, folks. Our initial coverage on our assignment with receivers,
7 yards.
We say it's generally 7, 8, 10 yards, but in essence, it's until they're clear. Now, when these guys cross, by chance, they become clear because the defense all ends up in the middle. And then they're moving into another zone. And at that point in time, of course, the guy who's in that zone is going to have responsibility for him. But if these guys are being pressured all the way across, you have to stick with your guy because there is no switching mechanism in this situation.
In 7 officials, okay, as Andrew said, this guy, let me take this just a couple of more frames. This guy coming to this side of the is no longer being threatened as such. This guy's trying to get there. And if you watch this guy, he's no longer threatened. So once he's gone by, and I believe this is Mark, realizes he's no longer threatened, he can now help pick up this guy coming in. And I'm sorry, I don't know who was working the other sideline. Once he clears traffic, I'm sorry, who was it? Zane. And once he clears traffic, then Zane can pick this guy up as he comes. Andrew's point in 7, when these two birds, are right there, the line of scrimmage guys still have them until they clear. Uh, 35. Any questions? Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Okay. So let me back that up so you see where the guys are. This is a receiver from Halifax who's coming downfield. Ball's handed off. So he's no longer a threat to be a receiver. So he was, what was he, number 3 in? This guy. So that would have been, Ray, I think that's you, isn't it? Ray's
yes, me. Yeah.
That's Ray's guy right here. Continues to come down. The ball's handed off. We now soften our eyes. Okay. So the question now becomes, who has this? And I tried to turn my circle sideways and I wasn't very good at it. Who has this zone in here where those two birds are now?
That's my zone in there, Al.
Okay.
I remember this play. I went up and talked to the player right after. I should have thrown my flag here.
Yeah. I don't know who this is, and it doesn't matter. Where should they be offering assistance to? Okay. Yeah. These guys aren't doing any. Oh, get out of the way. These guys aren't doing anything. He's walking by. He's clapping his hands because he saw his girlfriend in the stands. So these two guys could probably have 2 sets of eyes on.
The problem is we talk about ball hawking. So I think I was ball hawking on this play because I didn't see how 11, like I stayed with 11 till he was free. And then next thing I know, I hear the contact and 11 on the ground, but I wasn't 100% sure how he got on the ground. So I went up and had a chat with the player after the game, and I didn't have that problem again throughout the game. But it's you got to watch your key a little bit longer.
especially with this league. And youth sport, not so much with high school or age group stuff, because the kids aren't sneaky. But I think we have had a lot of ball hawking going on this year, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. And sometimes that's when we miss something like this. And as I say, I just saw this when I watched it. I didn't know who was in the area. I knew Ray was there, but just keep in mind, we can't lull ourselves to sleep because nothing happens for 5 seconds. Something could happen in second 7. So just to be on our toes.
From my limited experience in the deep sideline position, I would recommend to Bob Prosser that he not be looking into the middle and look at the 2 receivers that are up his way.
Yeah.
Just saying.
The 2 that aren't doing anything? I miss it.
No, I had an incident down in Halifax.
Oh. Yes, but Bob had them out of the corner of his eye. I forgot the incident. Okay, 55. Okay, so 55. Fortunately, they run all this time at the start and cut it right off at the end. What do we have?
Screen pass.
Okay, screen pass. Blocking. Okay, we need signals. Okay, just like in the last video clip. Those signals are meant for other officials to know what's going on. We talked about in our game on Saturday about the field goal mechanics, that we know what's happening when one referee peels out and the other guy stays at the post. We know what's happening, but players and other officials don't know what's happening. So signals are meant to communicate what's going on. 77. Okay. So this one came up when we were going through our hypothermia on Saturday night. I hadn't picked this one out, but Andrew mentioned it. Andrew and Jim mentioned it after in our post game about the action of a player that's going to be shown here. So it's the tackle on this side. And our question is, who on this play would be responsible? You can't see him because the slot back's here. There's a tackle right in there. Who's going to be responsible for this tackle on a run play? Any answers? This player, my arrow's not going to be accurate.
But to add to what you're asking, Al, when he goes downfield, that's the issue.
Okay.
Yeah. Show him the play.
If the quarterback's not threatened, then it's going to be the referee on that side of the field. And the sideline official is moving in, but I'm not sure he'd be able to see it. The referee is really the only one that's got to look at it on the.
But on that, I'm not looking that wide out, because you'll see where the contact is, Bill. He's out quite a ways.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's almost impossible for anybody to see.
Yeah, I'm not even looking.
What about the field judge though? Because I'm lined up right over him on the dead ball line.
Are you looking there, or are you looking more toward the center of the ball?
I'm watching my keys off. I'm watching my keys off the snap, but as soon as it's a run, I'm turning into the line.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark in this situation is coming down because the ball has now broken the plane, short goal line situation. Jim's not going to see anything. Is this Ian?
Yes.
Okay, so if Ian moves in, he may pick it up. But yeah, Ray, maybe you could also.
No, I think it was Dunfield.
No, it wasn't Ian. That was
Dunfield.
Okay, yeah. Okay, my apologies for just tossing names. I'm just guessing. But the issue is how far out of his blocking below the waist zone he gets. Andrew said it was brought up by the coach that mentioned it to him. So,
well, just if you just look, the play is stopped right there.
Yeah.
The sideline. This is a classic example of the sideline guys maybe being the only ones that are going to have a look and see whether the ball breaks the plane. And if he's looking at the ball to see if it's breaking the plane, he's probably not going to see the tackle, the block.
Exactly. His job is coming straight down the line and helping out determine whether the ball has crossed the goal line.
And Jim is screened out, so he's not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm coming down the goal line too. Yeah. Anyway,
watching for those three guys out here. Keep in mind, I know he's way out, but their job is to police the goal line. So because it's on this side of the goalpost, Mark's coming down to find out where the ball has gone. Jim's going to move in to see where the ball's gone. So their focus is on what's happening with the ball. So what we need to do is rely on our deep outside guy and our field judge in a 7 official crew to try and have wide eyes in there to help pick up on the garbage.
Yeah.
77. Oh, this is just a question because I don't know what happened. And some people tell me even if in the game, I don't know what happened. Oh, shoot. Bob, are you aboard?
Yeah, I'm here.
What was the call?
Pass interference.
Was it?
It looked like the second guy in cleaned out the receiver.
And the reason I ask is I cannot tell from this angle. But my question was going to be, if it is pass interference, was the ball catchable? Oh yeah, I guess it hits him right here, doesn't it?
It is, and I was watching the ball on that play, and I told Bob that I saw the ball right into the area of the players. So
yeah. Good. Yeah, I didn't know what the call was, if there's something else, because I didn't get it. 87. Get out of there. What the heck happened? So this is another one of those that the coverage is in a bizarre area and it's hard to make a call in the area. Or 30 seconds of standing watching. Okay, so being in a crowd makes it harder to pick these fouls up. The throwdown might be a giveaway. So I think it's right around here somewhere. Oh, there it was. Okay, we have two actually. So it's these two guys, this player and this player. Okay, so somebody gets up excited. So the question is, because of where it's happening, we are in level. This is the first wave, is it not, coming in? So we're still in first wave of coverage coming in.
Well, it's kind of on the periphery of it too, though, because it's wide of it, eh?
But it's just one of those where we have a throw down on a kick play, fairly close to the play. And one of my notes there was maybe we again, like Ray alluded to earlier, maybe we're focusing on the ball more than having soft eyes to pick everything else up. Oh, shoot. Okay, so as I said on the last set of videos, we're going to watch the blocking technique of this player. Like, he doesn't even make an attempt to not take him below the knees. Okay, just something for us to be aware of. It's happening in virtually every game that we're doing. Okay, so my question was, is this a completed pass? We have great coverage. Bob's right there. Ray's coming in. Okay, so the Moncton kid in black right here is going to gain the ball. Camera doesn't help. You get a foot down inbounds.
I think he was unbounds first.
His left foot's down first, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks good.
He had a foot in by about 1.5 inches.
Good call. Okay, from 75 yards away, 60 feet up in the air. You can't tell. Last play from this game. So it happens really quick, and they're very good at extending the play of this. Okay, we have an incomplete pass. Suppose this guy knows it's incomplete?
He should.
And again, it's hard to tell from the camera angle whether he actually makes contact with his head or not. It's just one of those things that, and I don't know what, as I said, this ends now. So you don't know whether somebody went and talked to him or what, but it's just one of those things that, is there a need for that contact? Yeah. And then secondly, is there a need for a flag on it? Okay. Okay, so that was sorry?
Sorry, can you replay that again?
Yeah. 127. Okay.
So is it possible that the DB thought that could have been a potential fumble?
I won't dispute that. But I don't think he goes after the ball, though. But again, full speed, what's going through a person's mind when the ball is close by, it's hard to tell. But it looks like he makes no attempt not to get his head involved in the play or involve the opponent's head.
Can you roll that in real time, Al? Because when two guys are going head to head, things close real quick.
Yeah, just let me go to the spot here and then I'll clear that. And that way it'll roll right through.
Yeah.
And as I say, they end it really quick. But again, as I say, it was just toss there. Was there a need for the contact? If there was flaggable, would this be, if this was flaggable, would this be a MFL targeting penalty?
Only if there was head contact.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If it was
his head didn't get into it, I don't think.
Well, no. Yeah, if there was head contact, yes, it would be, because that's a defenseless player.
Yeah. And it's hard to tell from this angle and whatnot. But again,
I vaguely remember the play and seeing the last of it, because after the ball left, I left my lineman. And I think I thought about it, but I didn't think the head was involved. But yeah, I get a fleeting glance. I don't see the whole thing, right?
And again, it was just one that I pulled out for discussion. Okay, so that was a 7-member crew. And the last one we have is a 5-member crew. 4 guys from PEI had to put up with a misplaced Islander coming over and helping out. So because there's fewer plays, we don't get it picked on as often. And we were fortunate that I was able to talk to the 2 gals that are doing the video and ask them to go up a little bit higher, but it's still difficult to get a good read on what's happening. Okay. So the first play is a pass that's going to end up coming down into this area. You heard me talk about it back on the first group of videos we talked about getting ourselves moving when we should be moving. And in this situation, Nick, I don't know if it's you or if it's Jamie might actually get caught up in traffic here.
That's Jamie.
Okay, that's this one right down here. That's you, right, Nick?
That one is me. Yeah, the first one is Jamie. The second one is me.
Yeah. So the idea is that once that ball goes airborne, make your way to the goal line. That's going to be the most important line for you to defend at the time. Just try to get yourselves moving. And again, this is a pass play, but there's also plays that came from the other games that I showed tonight of the guys standing still.
That one I kind of got caught on. I remember this one because it was literally thrown right at me. So I didn't know if I should back out or if I should. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is we have a double flag on this play. So this is a return up the sideline for a touchdown that we pulled back on. So on the play, I had a crack. Nick had a block in the back, a UR block in the back. And on this situation, the line judge is just too close to make the call. And as I just said in the play before, we need to be moving because I'm too close because I'm standing still rather than getting ahead of it. So movement's our friend. Try and make sure we have space so that we can make the correct call. The correct call was a block in the back.
So Al, what'd you say you had?
I had a blind side, but
again, I thought you said crack, and I was going to say, how could you have a crack in this situation?
Sorry. Okay, I did say that. I meant to say blind side.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. But it's a block in the back, and I'm just too close to get an angle on it.
What I really liked about that is our conversation, though, Al. Like you and I, we both had a flag. We talked about it, and we made the right call. And I think even after at halftime, you and I got together and just said, like, because I remember you had said you had block in the back. So I know we had a conversation of what did you see, what did I see. I know we both questioned whether we saw maybe if it was a different players that we saw, but our conversation was really good on it.
Yeah, no, you got to do it. Do it. Next one. So we had talked earlier about moving on plays and so on. Okay. And then if you're the moving official, once the ball goes airborne, to get off the line at the snap. And then once it goes in the air, busting to get to the goal line. Okay. So we have Nick's on the goal line. Sorry. And then Nathan was coming down.
I'll be completely candid. I was really gummed up the whole game, it seemed like, on that. It was my first tackle game and flag on the brain, but you're right. I have to get down there faster.
Yeah. Once the ball goes airborne, you got to bust.
Yeah.
That's 23. I think this is a clip that shows our line of scrimmage guys were having some confusion about who was moving, who was free, and we all talked about that at the end of the game, so we cleared everything up. But the initial positioning, where everybody is. Again, this is meant for constructive reasons only. So as for the referee, if he comes to the wide side of the field and the umpire slides towards the narrower side of the field, it makes the assignment by the back umpire for the line of scrimmage guys easier to do on who's moving and who's held. So the initial positioning should be the referee is to the wide in 5 officials, in 5-member crews. The umpire slides to the narrow side, and the back umpire lines up on the wide side with the referee. When we talked about it, those of you that are on from the island, when we talked about it after the game, and I drew on the kids' equipment room wall there, the position of the referee and the back umpire determines who's going to have to cover that whole sideline, or who doesn't have to cover the whole sideline. So we were getting confused on the field with messages coming across, and I was looking and reacting more based on where the referee and umpire were lining up than anything. So our initial positions, okay, based on the way the center field lines up, the down judge and the line judge should be releasing. The down judge, not the line judge, should be releasing. So because there was no official on deep on this side, I released on this play, but I shouldn't have been the one. And it caused some confusion. I think we talked about it after the game and cleared it up and got rid of it. This is the last play.
Al, just to go back to what you just said, you were on the short side. You would be releasing.
But I wasn't on the short side in that one, I don't think, was I?
Oh, yes, you were.
Okay, then I get the.
Well, I'm going by the hash marks.
Yeah, then I've got my note backwards. I was just reading the note. What play was that? 50.
No. Okay, see, we're over on the other. You're on the short side.
Yes, so I should be releasing. What did I put for the note? Maybe my typing was wrong. Based on the way the center field lines up, the down judge, not the line judge, should have be released. Oh, okay. So based on where the center field was lined up,
yeah, okay.
I was releasing on that play, and I shouldn't have been. Convert. So our issue with the team from Nova Scotia on Saturday was, or 2 Saturdays ago, these guys never kicked the convert. They ran scrimmage plays on every convert. And so we all sort of got lulled to sleep on this play. That maybe we thought that we'd allow them to try and run it back for 2. Okay, and this is after touchdown number 9 of the game. And they'd all been scrimmage plays. So everybody's reaction was, it's a scrimmage play, and we allowed it to go for a bit. before we finally killed it. And it's just one of those things that I think we were all guilty of because of heat and how many touchdowns have been scored, that we just lulled ourselves out of it and weren't focused on that play. Anyhow, it was a good day on the island. I enjoyed the opportunity to work with the guys. Had a lot of fun. Any questions? Okay, what am I doing now? I want to close. Stop sharing. All righty. Wow, we had a big crowd tonight. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts?
I want to throw one thing out, not to be decided tonight, but just something for people to think about. And it's how we report penalties. Personally, I prefer offense or defense. I know for many years we used those acronyms of SINs or TINs. And in the last 2 games I've done, I've had guys report fouls by team color and they got it wrong. But I'd like to, I think that's maybe something that we consider retiring. I know in a lot of pre-games when the referee talks about reporting penalties, a lot of them just say, I don't care as long as I get the information. Yeah. The reason I like offense or defense is that's the way I'm going to report it. And if you look NFL or whatever, the referee's comment is holding defense number such and such. So can we consider standardizing the way we do it so we're all doing it the same way? And again, I'm just throwing it out there. Let's think about it, and maybe we decide on Thursday night.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's no question that even in some games we're getting messages brought in differently from different officials. And I'm probably as guilty as any for asking. I don't care how it comes in, just let's get me the information. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to